Hi everybody, it's Nicci here from Gracie's house. I'm just going to pop a comment in because it does seem to help. I'm just going to do that quickly. And here we are. So Nicci from Gracie's house. I am a redesign with Prima Brand Ambassador and I'm based in the UK. Today, so I posted a picture yesterday, I shared it into the group. There was lots of people, lots of interest, lots of people asking questions. As you pop on, just drop a little comment, say hello, tell me where you're watching from. It's always lovely to know where you guys are. So yesterday I did this and I had lots and lots of people ask me, and this is with icing paste. I'm just bringing the camera down. Let's bring it a little bit closer. Now, even since I took my photo yesterday, this is dried and gone even more pearly. It's probably much prettier actually in real life. This is the product. So I had, like I said, I had lots and lots of questions about what the product was. So this is it. This is the icing paste. Hi, Roz. This is the Frosty Pearl that I use. So you can see that it's quite pearlescent in the tub. Now, when I apply it, and you'll see, because I'm going to do some for you so that you can see how it works, it is quite opaque. So actually it went on and it was quite white, you'll see that. But as it dries, it just gave this really, really pretty, subtle mother of pearl, and the colour from underneath that comes through. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Now there's several colours that this is in. There's some nice bright reds, there's some beautiful golds. But hi Jackie, hi Patricia. But we're going to continue working with this Frosty Pearl. So here's one I did earlier. I am going to be filling in. I'm not just going to be leaving that big plonked in the middle. I'm going to fill in these spaces, but I'm not going to do that today. I just want to show you doing a whole piece. There was questions about bleed through using this icing paste as well. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to move on to just popping some transfers on as well. So I'm going to turn it around. Loads of noise, sorry. Sorry. There we go. I'm going to bring the camera up a little bit. Just a wee bit. Okay, there we go. So I am using the Elegant Lace Stencil. That's the packet. So that we're going to use this. I had questions about what tape I use. Now this one is Tessa. I know that my paint is nice, is nicely on there, so I'm not concerned. This just normal masking tape is not going to pull the paint up. If you have any concerns, then maybe use one that's delicate for, do you know what, I've said that now and it'll probably pull the paint up, but it didn't yesterday. Okay. So all I did was find the position I want it in, roughly in the middle, and I just stuck it on. So that's the first stage. Nice and easy, hey? Good and nice and easy. And it looks central to me. It looks central on the screen. Now, if you've ever seen, your Redesign with Prima retailers should have these. This is called a spread pal. Melanie, I know the stencils, this pearl stuff is amazing. So yes, these are the spread pals. You get 2 of these in a packet and available from retailers. So, as you see, I've not used any adhesive. I'm not taping it on the bottom. I will hold it down as I do the work, but you really don't have to. It's not thin like a paint. This is definitely like a paste. And I'll show you the consistency there. Can you see all that beautiful pearliness as well? Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so all you do is just get yourself a little scoop, a little bit at a time. As I said, I'm going to just hold this. Let me just get my legs round. I'm going to hold this. You don't have to worry about, you know, when you're using a brush on stenciling and you're using just paint and you shouldn't wipe it, you have to dab it. You don't have to worry about this because it's thicker. So you just scrape it across the bits that you want to use. Now I decided not to use these extra florals at the moment, so I'm just not going to go over those. You could tape them off if you were worried that it might scrape over. But having said that, if you do get a tiny bit, as you remove the stencil, you could just wipe those pieces off. But 2 options basically. And it really is as simple as that. Now I've also got up here, just in case you haven't got a spread pal, I've got a little palette knife which would do exactly the same job, and you'd scoop what you want out of the pot and scrape it over. It would do exactly the same job. So we're just going to keep going here. What I did find yesterday is you just have to be careful. Can you see where the lines are? Where obviously it's got to the edge. Just go back over. Once you're happy that you've got all the bits filled that you want, go back over, because those lines will show. Those lines will show up when you remove your stencil, and then it will be really difficult to sort them out. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so you can see this line here. Can you see where I've got extra product? You don't want them. So just go over really lightly afterwards to get rid of those lines. So this is quite a basic, this is not tricky. It's a great product to use, and it dries super hard. I'm quite impressed how tough this is. Laurie, this is one of your favourites. I mean, I've got loads and I've used them for other things. I haven't used this pearl one before. Ooh, I tend to use the gold. I also find that my product kind of moves its way up. Just scrape it back in the pot, scoop it out again, so it's right on the end where you need it. It's just, I mean, you can see how white it is here, and it was just incredible to, when I kept sort of going away and coming back again, and seeing how it was drying much more like mother of pearl, with those sort of iridescent type of effect. Love it. Love, love, love. So this does give you a textured finish. This is not a thin product. This is going to give you texture. So it definitely gives you interest, and as I say, like pearly shimmer. If you're using one of the other ones, they've all got quite a pearly kind of finish to them. Okay, nearly done. A little bit over here, a little bit over there, and then we can take the stencil off. You don't have to be stingy with the product. I mean, you can see I'm not even holding the stencil on now. It's kind of stuck there where I've already applied. So if you do struggle with kind of the traditional, using paint with stencils, the waxes in these pastes are a really, really good way to get that interest and a difference in pattern. Some people just don't like stenciling. Some people just struggle to get a smooth finish or not have bleed through. So this is a way to give yourself a different way of stenciling. So you can still use them. And I'm just gonna scrape my product off now. And I don't know if you can see, no, you can't close up. I'm just gonna go over really lightly. So I'm gonna lose those lines where there's a bit of build up. That's the plan anyway. There we go. Okay, and that's it. There we go. Anything that's left on your spread pal, your spatula, whatever, I've just scoop it back into the pot. Hi, Sue. And I'm going to pop the lid on so that doesn't dry out. And then all we're going to do, just making sure I've got everything there, is I'm going to hold on to the transfer. I'm going to hold on to the stencil just while I lift the masking tape so that it doesn't smudge anything. And then I'm going to take the top corners and I'm just going to pull it away straight away like that. And there we go. That is a really good reveal. I'm very pleased. And you see how crisp it is. It's so, so crisp. I had several comments yesterday saying like how amazing and crisp, because I did it really close up, the picture. If you haven't seen it, go and try and have a look. And it is so crisp. And I'm okay at stenciling. I'm all right with stencils, but this is very, very satisfying. I know, Lisa, right? It's really satisfying. And as I said, you can see, I'm going to drop it down a little bit more. And I'm going to take you in a bit. Whoops, blanket got in the way. So can you see it's quite white. It's maybe more white in real life than it's showing on the camera. Do you know what, I think Roz will confirm this for me. I don't think you need to seal this product. It dries super hard. I mean, I certainly, you know, I've done a rub test and I've done a scratch test on the piece that I did on the other side. It's really good. I'd say you need to leave it overnight. It's probably only a few hours, but overnight it's rock hard. Sandra, you've never seen it before. I know it's amazing. And as I said, as this particular colour dries, it will just become more mother of pearl like, very, very pretty. Now, anyone that's eagle-eyed, anyone that's eagle-eyed might have noticed that there's two different shades going on this piece. So I'm going to move the piece around again, and then we're going to get to work on the stencil. I've just said stencils. The transfer. More noise. Oh, you want me to go back to the dry side? Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so that's the dry side. Joe, you've just joined in. This is icing paste with the, I've forgotten the name. I keep forgetting the name of this stencil. Elegant Lace Stencil. So this is the stencil that we've used. And I've just not chosen to use these floral parts. So this is the one I've done yesterday. Can you see? That is rock hard. So I might be told that I'm wrong with the sealing, but it's good. Okay, so I'm going to show you the paint colours I used in a sec. More noise. Okay, so can you see I have two shades of colour here? I have finally received my parcel. I'm just going to have a little cup of tea. I have finally received my Paint Couture paints. Who makes the icing paste? All available through your Redesign with Prima retailers. Let me show you the pot again. But it's the Art Extravagance. So they're, Art Extravagance icing paste. So it's kind of under the Finnabair type label, I think. Yes, it is. Yeah, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So I have picked two colours. I wanted to go, I've got two, this was basically a set, but people don't kind of have these types of furniture as sets. I don't really sell sets like that over here. So I've got this one, which is 2 drawers and a mirror, and I've got another one, which is 3 drawers, no mirror. So I've done that one in quite bold colours, and I just fancied something kind of serene. So I picked, these two colours are from I think it's the colours of, I have my shade card. I think it's called the Colours of Sweden range. Anyway, the paint colours are Linear, which is this very, very, very pale, ever so slightly blue, very pale on that side. And then Misty Fjord, which is this kind of very subtle sage green. And as you can see, they've blended through here. And then they've got the mirror, I've got the mirror kind of stand at the back there. So that's the paint colours, hence the 2 different shades when I was doing the stenciling. But because it's mother of pearl, I wanted something that was going to sit nicely with both of those colours, be very tonal and very natural. So that was the decision making process there. And for the transfer, I have got Watercolor Bloom. Now I haven't got a tube to show you because this one didn't come in its own tube. I've had this since before when we were doing the sneak peeks. I've got two whole sheets practically, and then one little scrap. So I haven't even cut my pieces up, guys. Normally, you know me, I like a bit more of a plan, and I haven't even given myself a plan. So I think what we're going to start with is this big section in the middle. I'm going to kind of put it here, arrangement, and then I'm probably going to do a piece here. Now, I don't know if it's about the way we read. What was the first colour? Is linear. So that's that really pale. It's a grey with a very, very, very subtle blue in it, in my mind. Yeah, I just love these, like really washed out. For the UK market, they're really good. That whole range is really good because they sit back nicely with oak, pine. Helen, you've missed everything. No, you haven't. You've just missed the icing paste. So you're going to have to catch up, I'm afraid. Yeah, so there's the colours in that range. The Colours of Sweden range are really, really good for this UK market because there's a lot of people that like that kind of country cottage, sanded back oak. Hence I've done an oak top. I've just sanded this completely back and waxed it. I'm really digging wax at the moment. I think, Jackie, yes, elegantly gentle, like it. Yeah, so I just wanted something that's sort of quite calm and serene. And, you know, all this watercolour, it's sort of wafty, it's like suggestions of colour. And this is such a pretty transfer. I wanted the transfer to really shine, but in a relaxed way. My husband always says I talk with my hands too much, because he's not like that whatsoever. The great thing about this one as well, this the way they've put the florals together, you'll notice that some of the transfers are very obviously the flowers are pointing up or the flowers are pointing down. This is quite cool because actually I think this one can go all of the ways. So I think you can really rotate the florals in this one round to work to your advantage. Waxing lyrical. Do you mean talking too much, Jackie? So I think it kind of just lends itself to that corner quite nicely for me. So I'm going to pop it there. What do you think? And then I was thinking maybe that piece, can you see that it kind of just naturally drops over in that top corner? So I finally bought my transfer tool down from the workshop. So I was saying, I always find, I don't know if it's because we read top left to bottom right, that I kind of end up having more here and less here, but kind of a frame. And I don't know if that is about how we read and how our brains naturally progress through. I'm sure I've seen Roz talking about staging in a similar way, where your mind reads a picture from the top left to the bottom right, similarly to how we read a book or text or whatever. So I'm thinking there, just looking in the, yeah, that looks good. So as I normally do, I'm giving that a press down, and you can see the guidelines, completely ignoring them on this particular one. So I give it a press down because then you don't need to tape it. You've done, the hard work's done because the adhesive has started to work. I thought I'd been really good and had everything I needed set out. And you know what? I've forgotten my knife to cut the spaces on my drawers. So I might leave that until I've finished. I've got all my UK girls. If there's anyone else watching, always drop, if there's any questions. Roz is there, Helen's there, they can always help if I miss anything because I'm not facing the camera. I always go in and check my comments afterwards, and I quite often keep checking as I go throughout the day. So you'll never get ignored, but I might not be immediate. Sandra, they're really pretty, these flowers, aren't they? And there's so many background colours. So I did, for my sneak peek reveal, I did it on a lemony coloured background. Yeah, I Cheryl from Louisiana, someone from Buffalo, lovely, lovely. And how's weather treating everybody now? Because you've had it bad, I think, some of you, should I say. So I give it a really good rub over, and then once I lift my top sheet, I'm going to keep, oh, I can't get my finger under there we go. I keep rubbing, because you don't, and I always say this, you don't want to think that it's all done and then rip it all off. Missouri, New York, Hopewell Junction, that's very specific, Laurie. It sounds lovely, what a lovely name. So yeah, what you don't want to do is go and think, oh, do you know what? I've done all my rubbing. I'm going to rip my top sheet off in excitement, and then you ruined it. Pam, you're welcome. And I have to say, if anyone's not used Paint Couture yet, the transfers go on beautifully. You've been warming up, been without water for a week. Oh my God, I just can't even imagine. Ohio, you've still got snow on the ground. See, you have everything to the extreme compared to what we have, basically. We had snow for like, on the ground, and it was only like, you know, just about enough to make a snowman for maybe 2 days tops. And then we had some snowfall, but it doesn't even land. And then that's it. We had a cold spell. But yeah, you guys, you just... So I'm going back to saying the transfers, because this paint has got such a great smooth finish, they do stick really nicely. Nova Scotia, Canada, a little snow. Nicoletta, thank you. I'm always aware that I'm trying to do the job without getting in the way of the camera. I might just switch sides for a second. You know, I bought a blanket in to sit on so that I didn't get a cold bottom on my kitchen floor. I'm not sat on it. That's better. That's better. So what I shall do afterwards is I'll then go through and I'll cut the lines of where the drawers are. Do you know what? I'm just gonna, can I see it to hand? I'm just gonna find my knife quickly. Sorry, guys. There it is. Never far, never far. Okay. So I did this on my live, was it a couple of weeks ago, I think? So just showing people how to, I did it with a piece that was on its back because it's just easier to deal with. But just to slice through once you've positioned it like that, and then down there for that one on the drawer edge, and it just makes it much easier to manage. You've kind of got, you then give yourself sections to work with. So you see, I can go ahead now and just work on this piece. From the video, the result is always excellent. Oh, thank you. And as I said, just keep rubbing, keep constantly rubbing. And there's, you know, that's going to help with when you go to rub the halos later, when you burnish it. Those things, doing those things now is all going to help your transfer be more stick better. And be more successful. The finish will be better. And if you do ever get tiny little air bubbles, so if you do it nice and slowly and steadily, you shouldn't suffer from air bubbles. Hi Debbie, I'm using the Watercolor Bloom from the latest release, the new transfer. Air bubbles, if you do go nice and slowly, you'll find less chance. Chrissy, the best way to burnish, I do two ways. I either use my finger or I've got like microfiber cloths, which I find really, really good. I use those kind of both as much as each other. Oh, that's my train of thought now. Air bubbles. I have got my knife and I literally just tap the middle of the air bubble. Don't rub it. Tap that and then push down, and your air bubble will be gone, and you won't mess up your transfer. As I said, if you go nice and steady, and you've got a nice smooth flat surface, a nice smooth paint work, there's less and less chance that you're going to have air bubbles anyway. So, as I said, there's so many colours in this that you could put. I missed a question there. Tried to put a transfer on a window and for some reason it kept coming off in places. Oh, that's unusual. Perhaps some grease got stuck on in parts. That was the only thing I could... Roz, what would you think on that? If it kept coming off glass, would you think grease is causing a resist? This definitely I would imagine there's something on there resisting the adhesive. I tried doing some on, when I put some around my door frame, I tried using, I tried putting some on my door, and that had previously been painted in an old style oil-based paint, gloss. It would not stick, not at all. There was nothing I could do, and everything else, exactly the same transfer was fine on. So I don't think they do, it might have been oil on the window perhaps. I don't think they play well with oil based. Oh, it's pretty on these colours. Oh, I love that. I might fill in this little area here. I'm not sure that looks right empty. So you see, I'm just folding in, running my nail under and folding in where the drawer creases. Did you see what I was doing there? Literally just run it, and then when you're done and you pull your drawer out, you can just run your finger along and make sure it sticks. It's stuck well. I think this one and Vigorous Violet are my two favourites from the latest release. This one kind of reminds me of Rose and Rouge in the way that you can really cut it about and build up your design how you want to. It's like a springtime version. Last leaf there. Yeah, pretty. Oh, can't get that drawer out. No, it's not going to come out for me. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to, ordinarily I'd stick a screwdriver in there and pull it out. So I'm just going to run my finger along there to just fold that, you know, that excess and make sure that's stuck around the bottom of my drawer. And I will do the same on there when that comes out. There we go. And then, like I said, you just go around and burnish all the edges. The best way to do it as well is to start in, say you've got this leaf, is start in the middle and go outwards, because the idea is that you're making sure all of the adhesive is flat and minimised and stuck down. So what you don't want to do is, if there was a tiny piece sticking up, if you went from the outside in, it could roll back on your finger, or whatever you're using to burnish, it could roll back. So try and go outwards from the transfer out. To be honest, this one doesn't need much. It's pretty good. It's not going to need much work at all. Okay, so that's that bit done. I'm just going to kind of switch back over here. So the thinking was that one there to go in that top corner. And do you know what else I like? Is I love that my windows are there, so it kind of gives the illusion that this is just light that's cast across and creating shadow, but it's actually a really subtle blend. So I'm quite digging the colours and everything here. No, can get rid of those. I'll add them in later. So I think this is cute to go over here. Just give a little bit. And I haven't decided, I might even come in and put some of that stencil here too. I'm not 100% decided on that, but I think I'm definitely going to use this over here. I think it just looks quite natural. Let's move the camera the right way. Whoop. There we go. You've all gone quiet. Is there no questions? I suppose that's a good thing. Does that mean I've been answering questions before we even come in. So we had our announcement yesterday that the schools go back on the, I think it's the 8th. Oh, all of the years. Grace is going back to school. I'm so excited. I get to get back in the workshop. It's going to make a huge difference to my days. So I've only overlapped a little bit on the edges. I'm not going to go over on this one just because I just think it will sit better here than popping it to here. So I'm just going to go just inside the drawers. I'm going to use, you see I am going to use the guidelines in this one. I'm using that one to line up against the split in my drawers. So we had a little celebration last night about Gracie going back to school, which is good. Just go back to my knife, just cut through for the drawer. You can, if you want to, you can measure and cut and then apply in separate pieces. It's down to really what works for you. If I'm doing an all-over pattern that will fit on a drawer, like a whole drawer front, then I do tend to measure it. But I think when you're placing like this and working with a vague plan, this process works better for me. We're just here to really show you the ways that work best for us and give you advice on, you know, like I say, it depends. If I'm doing an all over pattern transfer, then I work in a different way. These I think they've worked quite a lot on the adhesive. These burnish really, really nicely. I think there's less of a halo on the newer styles, but also because I'm working on a lighter base. If you've ever put transfers on the darker ones, on a darker base, that's when it's more obvious. I'm tempted, I haven't actually painted the mirror frame yet, but I'm thinking that the mirror is actually in really good condition, but I might put a little bit of transfer on the mirror as well. I'm not 100% decided. Oops. Finish that one off. No, it's stuck to itself. Okay, I'm going to repair one. So this is when you get to see the real life, what happens. Let me find a piece. That'll do. So I was too keen and I lifted my top sheet off and it just lifted a bit of the transfer and that peeled back onto itself. So I'm just going to get, let me see if I've got a bigger blue flower. And that happens to be the same one. So I'm just going to cut a piece of that blue flower off. Can you see how tiny it is? It was that small. I'm just going to do a repair. No, that's bigger. Oh, it's the same one, but it's bigger. Let's use that one. There we go. Better. So I'm just cutting a tiny, tiny piece off. Whoops, there we go. And I'm just going to add that there. To make that repair. And you'll never know. There we go. So let me bring you in to where I've just done that. I just did that here. So this is the bit I've just added. See, you wouldn't know. So luckily I had enough to... Oh, there we go. Luckily I had enough bits left. Okay. So I think I'm gonna maybe put a bit more along here, and I might just pop something here. So I've got something there that will probably fit in that gap quite nicely. So that little section there, and that gives me a bit more pink. I'm gonna pop that there. Maybe that way around. That's perfect. And it doesn't matter that there's a little bit of overlapping, I don't mind that. There's overlapping in the design itself. So here there's overlapping. So it really doesn't matter. You can build these transfers up to suit your piece, how you like it to look. You can build these up however you want. I'll show you the hardware that I've got for this as well, because I love you keeping my hardware original if it's all in good condition, rather than swapping out and putting new on, because they just got it so right, so lovely. So this has got solid brass, but I didn't want it, again, I didn't want it to look really, really highly polished. Just so that you all know, if you have been commenting, I haven't seen any come through in ages, and I don't know. Oh, look at that. There's loads. Sorry, guys. Totally missed loads and loads of comments. I'm going to have to look back at that. I'm sorry, guys. It got stuck. I will catch you up afterwards. So yeah, I will show you the hardware in a sec, because I've also used a white gold, the Finnabair, Art Alchemy wax on the hardware. Again, I didn't want that really, really shiny. I'm going for that serene look. So I've just used white gold because it's toned down. It's really, really, again, subtle, but it's still a metallic. So that, I think that fills that gap in quite nicely. Yeah, okay. And I just feel like I want to put something here just to finish that off. So let me see what I've got left on my sprays. That's too big. I think one of these might look quite nice. I've got some blue here, so I'm just going to use this piece. Hi Laurie, Wisconsin, thank you for watching. So I'm feeling that one kind of in here. You'll find as well, because you're going to be ignoring some of the lines sometimes, it's off-putting until you can get the back sheet off and then the top sheet. It kind of is a bit more off-putting. Is there anything else I've got? That's a blank one. Maybe a bit of pink in there as well. I might throw some pink in a minute. So I'm going to pop that one there. Again, it doesn't matter that we're overlapping because there's overlapping going on in other parts of the design. Patricia, this is Watercolor Bloom. This is from the new release. very pretty colours, lots of different colours to pick from for it to sit on as a background. So I've got 2 shades going on here because quite honestly, I couldn't decide. I wanted to use both. So I did both instead of picking one or the other. That little bit there does not want to stick. There we go. Every now and then you'll get a tiny little bit that's just a little bit determined to stick to the top sheet. Just be patient, rub it a little bit more. It will usually come. And you can see there's been a few people reporting that it's difficult to layer the transfers. Well, you can see that I'm layering here and I'm not having to do anything more. I'm not having to top coat in between, and I haven't had that happen yet. So I'm quite happy there that I haven't got to do another process. There we go. You may every now and then have to rub a little bit harder, but that's no different from not layering to layering. They look natural. Thank you, Pam. And I think that's what we want. I mean, you know, okay, these are watercolor flowers. These aren't real flowers or depictions of real, you know what I mean. They're not photographic. But you want them to look like they belong together. I quite like that. I think that fits along quite nicely. Natalie, there's probably several links from Roz, but if you look in the post description, there's a link to find retailers. So we always encourage you to find a retailer first to hook up with somebody that way. If not, if you're in America, there's a link there that you can purchase via my affiliate link as well. Okay, let me show you the hardware and then we're probably done. There we go. So these are the drop handles. Can you see how pretty? So this is with what I'm going to have to reach across again. I wasn't intending on showing you the handles. Well, I've cleaned them so that they've got no grease, no, you know, natural oils from hand and everything. So I gave them a really, really good clean with a degreaser. And to be honest, they're so aged, I might have polished them up. There you go, that's how, can you see the difference? That's how dark. They're just a bit battered. So they're very, very nice. They're all in, there's nothing broken, but I think I don't think they would have polished up so nicely. So I've given them a really good clean, and then I've just used my finger pads to just apply this yesterday. It's all good. So I think that's going to sit back really nicely with the natural oak, and just like I said, toned down, not a full on brass. So that's the white gold in the little tubes. Okay. So I think we're done. As a recap, we were using the Frosty Pearl, that way around, icing paste with the Elegant Lace Stencil. And then we were using the Watercolor Bloom Transfer on the front. I haven't 100% decided whether I'm going to add some stenciling to the front yet, because I don't know if I want that to be smooth. I'm not sure if I want to add more texture. Oh, Pam, I know, I mean, handle choices is how they came, you know, these are the originals. So they just got it right. Natalie, if there is a way to figure out if they're sold locally or just online. So yeah, there's a link, the first link in the description, the post description, that's to find a supplier. So if you put in, there's a section for online stores and there's a section for kind of retail stores. It'll be obvious. And you can click on either one of those and you can try and find like a bricks and mortar store that you can actually go into. Laurie, less is more. Yeah, do you know what I'm thinking? I love the stenciling on the sides. I think you're right. I think I'm probably going to leave it just to have this, the transfer on the front and the stenciling on the sides. Okay, guys, I really appreciate you watching with me and working with me. And I'm sorry I didn't scroll. I missed a load of comments in the middle. I'll go back through and catch anything I missed. We've just kind of talked about the 2 links that are up in the post description. There should be a link in there for Gracie's house as well. If you haven't already, I'd love you to go over there and like and follow my page. That would be awesome. And this is the time to come and see me on the Redesign with Prima group. This is my time slot, so I will be here this time next week as well. And the one last thing is, if you're watching replay, just pop #replay in the comments for me, just so that I know whether you're watching live or afterwards. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Bye.